Hello YouTube, this is Mickey D back again with another episode of Stationeers, episode 66. Yeah, and a MacGyver. So as you can see, I did a little bit of work off camera. I went ahead and got all the circuits up for the ACs. I've manually shut them off right now though, since from when they were drawing, basically draining all the power in the base. And then obviously I got the floor grates down. And I got all the walls put up around. I haven't decided if I'm going to put them on the top or not yet. I probably will. But and I went and did a mining run. Oh, and our fuel is magically combusting again in the line. So I'd say there's a definite bug there. And it looks like my pad's gone empty. I did harvest all the plants in the greenhouse, and I changed the ratio to be 50% so it doesn't kick on all the time. Because, oh, and I gotta change the tablet. We have basically gone through all, quite a bit of, let me see if I can get this up and running. I think it was about, I think we went through about half of it. So if we come back over here on the CO2 tank, so we were at 4.86 MPa. Basically doing the stream yesterday, which was about an hour and a half, and in about another hour, we went through almost 2.5 MPa of CO2. That's in a big tank. In a small tank, that was about 10 MPa. So the greenhouse is not really sustainable since we don't get anywhere near that amount of CO2 back. Hey, Kelvin. Yeah, so I just shut it down for now. It's obviously it's not something that we can leave running. I didn't want that. I want that there. Thank you. Yeah. So something else. Oh, actually, I want to show this too. So something else I discovered while I was kind of getting this all done, and I had these running, is where they fix the radiators. These, where we do not have the, you see how the base is up at 3 Celsius right now? It was up to 6 Celsius earlier. Basically, the tanks are radiating out all the heat. So as soon as I shut off the ACs, they're dropping, the temperature's dropping because it's trying to match or get close to what's outside. And strangely enough, they're actually getting a little bit colder than what the base atmosphere is. But they're basically losing all the heat. I actually had this up to about 17 degrees Celsius, and I'm like, oh, it's going to be shutting off soon because it's set at 20. And then I was like, well, I'll bump up the oxygen for a little bit because I kind of wanted to pre-warm it before I pressurize the base. And I was like, you know, and then when I was warming that up, I was like, oh, this is dropping. So, and this was actually up around, I think, 12 degrees Celsius. So, or no, I had it up to 7. It takes forever because it's a large tank and it's a lot higher pressure in it. I also did, which this is kind of weird too, and part of it I think is because the temperatures. I keep opening up the valve to let it pressurize, but it almost seems like we're losing pressure in the pollution somewhere, which we shouldn't really. I think it's just because the temperature keeps dropping and I open it up and then it kind of equalizes it and it comes back to about 1 MPa on each, 1.2 or so, and then I close it and it drops back down because I'm trying to keep this up a little bit higher, and I probably want to change this out to, I like the valve because it can flow both ways. So I might do something there. I'm thinking about putting a volume pump or something so we can pressurize this side higher. But I do like being able to balance this back out, because this right now is set down to the max on the AC, or the max cooling on the AC, which is 99, negative 99 degrees. And I have the circuit set to not about that, so it'll basically keep the AC on if it gets about, if it gets warmer than the negative about -99 or so. It's a little bit higher. I set it a little bit because I didn't want it to try to run the AC when it couldn't, get down below -99. And since I didn't feel like doing the math and stuff, I just, threw something in there that's pretty close. Um, I went a couple degrees higher, I think. So yeah, but so it is kicking those on and off, and but even this, I had this warm back up to about -10. So for some reason, it seems like some of them chill off a lot more than others. These were warmed up to basically about the same, and for some reason, the hydrogen wants to stay a lot colder. Um, so uh, basically, there's not really much point in running the ACs until we have the base pressurized and up to temperature or close to it, because it's just bleeding all the heat out into the base. Um, and I did do a mining run off. And just to show you real quick, so yeah, I got all the walls up in here too. I figured, that's off camera, so nothing really exciting there. And I did do a mining run, and I actually smelted a whole bunch of copper and iron. I smelted everything pretty much that I had, and put it in the machines. And then I did another mining. Did a mining run and basically smelted a few stacks of each. So most of the machines are pretty well stocked up. I even got some in there. Um, so we're doing pretty good for resources for now. So I shouldn't have to go on a mining run anytime soon. I made some lights because I do want to go work on the light circuit soon in here. Because obviously if I turn off my helmet, well, the sun's up now, so obviously it's lighting it up more. But I want to do a light in front of each tank and then one down the center. So that'll basically break it into thirds, and hopefully that should light it up pretty good. And then, we'll have one here, and I'm going to do something about this because we definitely need one over here, and maybe I'll move that one over there, and, I don't know. We'll see. So I do want to jump on kind of finishing the intake system, getting that up and running, which you can see it's running right now. And I want to get the base pressurized again. So we're going to kind of focus on that. But in conjunction with that, now I was talking about making this into like a 3x3 room. And I still kind of want to do that, but I'm thinking something slightly different. Because I was thinking, oh, I can make this a 3x3 room, and then I was like, what am I going to do with it? And I was thinking about just throwing chickens in here, but then I was like, well, I don't want my tank fill station in here with like chickens, I was like, if I'm going to have chickens, I just want them to be in like their own room. And obviously I'm debating even running the chickens because we've got to plant corn and get corn. So yeah, I haven't decided on that yet. But what I was thinking is hooking up a radiator system, which this might not be the most efficient place to put it. Honestly, over here would probably be better, and maybe that's something we can use this space for. But basically, I want to make a small room that we're going to pressurize with like pollution or something. It doesn't have to be pollution, but pollution would probably be the best bet. So I'll probably want to set up some type of airlock system for it. And I want to put wall heaters in there on their own circuit, and then run a radiator system into there. Actually, what I want to do is, I think, I don't know, I'm debating this. I might wait until we get the base pressurized and see how the radiator system acts. But basically, we need a way to dump heat constantly or consistently into the radiator system. So right now we're negative 157 degrees in the radiator system. And that was down to negative 178 or so earlier, but I was running the stuff and transferring it from the tank and not, because they're trying to keep some heat in it, because we're sucking all the heat out of it to heat up the liquids in here. So what I was thinking about doing is adding on either in here or something, because the radiator system's right there. So basically, we're going to close a room. It doesn't have to be very big. Throw the max of 5 wall. Well, actually, we'd probably do 4 because we're gonna need a logic circuit too. So we can't do 5 unless we run a heavy cable in. Um, Otherwise, we'll overwhelm the line. Uh, and what I was thinking about doing is tying that in, having a pipe analyzer on the radiator circuit, and then basically having that run to maintain. We'll keep the radiator circuit, down to like -20 or something, because it's a lot easier to pull heat off, and that still gives us cold enough that we can dump. We'll still get some transfer. So hopefully it'll give us a happy medium basically between heating and cooling without using a ton of power and basically leaving the system to have enough heat in it. So that way, if we're pulling heat out of it, the heaters can kick in. It will heat the radiator system up, um, and we'll have heat to pull out of it without having to ramp up the power use on the ACs. And then if we're not pulling heat out of it, basically the wall units would, kick off, until it started to cool too much, and then it would kick back on. Um, so IDM kicking around, but I want to get the intake system done, get the base pressurized, and then see how it reacts, because these tanks won't be able to bleed off heat as well, and most of these where they're set, that's set lower, so that's gonna be absorbing heat. We're gonna be trying to pull it out of there. That's set a little bit higher, um, so it's gonna be radiating heat, and then everything else is set at the same temperature as what the base atmosphere is. So they should, hopefully be relatively easy to maintain the temperature on it. Um, so yeah, that's why I want to get it pressurized first and see, because the radiator system might act, quite a bit differently when the base is up to temperature. Um, and I kind of think, I'm not sure, I have to do some testing, but I think I figured out a way that I want to set up these intakes, because before we had the separate filtration unit that was basically circulating the base air, pulling from one side of this wall and outputting on the other side, and then returning the oxygen and nitrogen, which was leaving like a huge pressure differential. So now these active vents, when you have it on output mode, so it's blowing out air, they will only output until it hits 101 kPa, and then they will not output any more air. So basically, they kind of realize that's your full kind of standard pressure. So they will try to put output as much air as they can until they hit that limit, and then they will only maintain that limit if the pressure drops, and they kind of just go into idle. Um, so on the intake mode, when you're in intake mode like this, it basically pulls in as much air as fast as it can. Um, hey, Alfie. Um, so what I don't want to get into the situation is where we've got, you know, a ton of air coming in, a ton of air coming out. We're running everything through the filtration. Everything's going, the filtrations are running all the time like crazy. And, when these are blowing in and blowing out, which it's not so bad when they're up here, but like the one down here, it'll actually either pull me towards it when I walk by it, or like this one, it will actually blow me away from it. Not a ton, but enough that you notice it. So what I'm thinking about doing is putting volume pumps on these, and when the intake's running, um, basically those will be kicked on, and it'll throttle how much air can be pulled in. So, and honestly, we could then just set it to a passive vent, instead of being an active vent, and then we could just control it by the volume pump. And then we can use the active vents on the output system to fill the base. And then that way it'll give us a way we can kind of tweak it until we're getting a good flow where, the active vents, they're just going to be constantly kind of just putting out a little bit of air to replenish what's being pulled in. So I think I want to try something like that. My other thought was to use like like a either like a pressure regulator or a backflow pressure regulator to kind of use that to pull in. And you just set it very slightly less than you set it to like 95 kPa or something. But they work so slow. I don't think that's really, I don't think they're going to really work fast enough. So I think I'm going to try the volume pumps. So that's the plan. But, and I think that will hopefully work pretty good. So we got to jump into this. We got to put a return up here. As I realized at the end of the last episode, there's an output, but there's no return. So we're going to throw a return in here off of this line. So we'll come up over the ceiling, and then we'll get into the logic on it. And for some reason, my power just flickered. So if the stream dies, that is why. We do still have some remnants of that storm coming through. So we do have some high winds. So, a tree might go down somewhere or something. So just, in case the stream suddenly ends. Gotta love the winter weather up here. And you know what? I'm actually going to want to... I know, I just pulled this off, but we gotta actually place the vent. And do we have a... We may have actually used all the active vents. I didn't check that. Yeah. At some point, we got to hook those all up too, which we have to make more of them for the tank systems. All right, so we need to go make an active vent. And I'm pretty sure... I don't know if I'm going to need to do it pretty soon. I think the 15 cables I have in my inventory is all I have left. I used about 200 hooking up all the circuits for the ACs. And I wasn't even looking as I was clicking through, so I probably skipped. Oh, there it is. Yeah, of course, it was like the first one. That's right, because they're in alphabetical order now. Hey, Mr. Montuc. And we still have to do some work. We got to get lights and whatnot hooked up on the... how do I want to run this? I'm actually thinking I want to run it that way, because we're going to have to pull off of that circuit. So we might as well just pull off in there, and otherwise we're going to come down and around. And honestly, I kind of like them all looking the same, but it's not that really that much of a big of a deal. So, all right, pull that back down, and we need some pipe. All right, let's get up there. Oh, yeah, let's grab a bigger stack of pipe than that. And, oh, you know what? Yeah, I gotta open up more wall. There we go. All right. So we're just going to tee off of this, run up over the ceiling. This will be pretty quick. And hopefully, I'd really like to get the base repressurized today. It's been quite a while since we've had the base pressurized. With this massive expansion of the filtration system and whatnot. You know what? We can curve it right there. We don't need to come up any higher than that. Oh, okay. We do want to go up higher. Oh, really? Atmospherics just crashed. That's all right. We don't need to run them soon. I'll just do a quick reload of the map if we get to the point where we need to run the welder or the atmospherics. And my power just flickered. My lights just flickered again. Yeah, the other day, right before I started the stream, my internet cut out for like 2 minutes. I was like, wow. I was like, at least it cut out right before and not right after I started it. All right. So, oh, that's going to be kind of annoying. All right. We are actually going to turn that around. Because otherwise we're going to have to like snake over, around, down, come back up. Because that pipe's in the way. Usually I just come down behind it, but we'll just do this. I think it'll be easier to do the pipe. With the cabling, we can just snake right around. So, yeah, that'll work. And, oh, let me clear out that. There we go. All right, so do some welding. Oh, yeah, we can't weld because the atmospherics are crashed. All right. Let us go ahead and save. And we'll just do a quick exit the session and restart it. And since we're not messing with pipes, hopefully we should not have the atmospherics crash anytime soon. That seems to be happening quite a bit. I mean, I know they're doing all the prep work on the atmospherics for Mars, so, you know, it seems a bit, okay. I guess the client may have crashed. Figures. Let's see if it recovers or not. Luckily, we just did a save. That's why, wow, because we were, yeah. Yeah, I don't think that's going to recover. Yep, nope. All right, let me restart the client. Hopefully, it's not going to want to sync with Steam, which it probably will. Oh, which is going to be annoying because that sometimes takes 5-10 minutes. Though it shouldn't really find anything. Oh. Okay. Nope, that's okay. I'm just checking. Yeah, we shouldn't have any updates today because it's the weekend there. So usually I get maybe an update tomorrow night, my time. Oh, it's going to take a while. All right. So while we wait on this, it's at 4%. I don't know why this takes so long to sync, but it does. I'm assuming that it's sending to their servers. I don't know if it's it seems to do it every time I shut down the client. And usually if there's an update, it'll just immediately apply the update. But if it's syncing the data for some reason, it takes, I don't know. I don't know if it's slow connection on their servers or what. But it's the only game in Steam I have that takes this long to do this. I don't know what all it's sending, but I don't really want to do that because I'm on the beta. So I do get, there's days I get 3-4 updates, and they're usually fixing crashes, or like the atmosphere is crashing. So I guess while we wait for that to finish, I'll kind of go over a few things. What I'm kind of thinking right now. So we got to finish the intake system, which hopefully will get done today, or the revamped intake system, I should say. And I guess I'm going to change that to the be right back so people aren't looking at a black screen. yeah, as soon as this finishes resyncing, then I don't know what it sends. I don't know if it's sending the whole world data or not, but I mean, I've got a pretty good transfer rate, but it takes a while, so I don't know what all data it's sending. But um, and so yeah. Anyway, I mean, finish the intake system, which should hopefully be today. Like I said, we'll try the volume pumps. Hopefully that'll work fine. Um, we got to put the one last vent in, and then it's onto the volume pumps, and then we got to set up a circuit, which I do want to add a manual override switch at. So we'll have to add a selector onto that. Up by the battery thing. That way, I would like to be able to set it so that we can purge the base, pressurize the base, basically from that switch. That way, we don't have to go around to every single individual one. And then obviously, the volume pumps are going to be buried in the walls. So, we don't really want to mess with that. It's at 23% right now. So we're going to finish that up. I still want to add the light circuit so that we're not having all the lights on the base. And that'll either be, we're either going to tie it into the doors or tie it into the motion sensor. I'm not sure for the motion sensor how big the range is on it. Anybody know? Actually, while we're looking at this or waiting, I'll pull it up on the Stationeers cheat sheet, which is always linked to every episode down below in the description. It's got some really good information on there. I don't know if it has anything for the sensors on it. Let me see, technical information. No, jetpack fuel usage, structure maximum temperature, damage types. Oh, they do have radiation already in there. Brain O2 usage. Oh, okay. O2 usage. Brain O2. Yeah, I guess it goes by your energy guns, which we're not even worrying about. Yeah, I don't think it has anything listed in here for, unless it's under the electrical, which doesn't really, you think it would be under the technical information. The sensor actually does not use any power. That's interesting to know. Yeah, it's not actually in there for what the range of it is. So we'll have to mess with it and see. And let me get my windows back here. There we go. Yeah, I want to work on that. And then there was something else I thought of. And then possibly that heat system, so that we can maintain a little bit warmer in the radiators. After that, I don't really know what else we have to do. I can't, opposed to trying to automate like the smeltery, which I don't really see is being something that's going to be really, I don't really see how we can automate it that much because it won't automatically pull resources in. So either way, we're going to have to manually load it. And then after we load it, we're going to have to wait for the gases. So I don't really see a point in automating it past the point that we have it automated now, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So unless we get something new added that we can add in, opposed to just throwing more solar panels on the base or something. I don't know if you guys think of any logic circuits that we could add, additionally above what we already have. I mean, we've got heating, cooling for the base and the greenhouse controlled and automated. We've got the filtration automated. We've got the AC for the filtration automated. We've got, we'll have the lights automated. And the greenhouse is completely automated. I'm kind of running out of stuff I can think to do. Oh, really? Oh, so we'll have to hook it to the doors then. Yeah, if we can only see that far, because my hope is that like if it sees like a whole room or like a decent size but is blocked by the walls, then we could cover a whole room. Or even if we needed two in a room, um, something like that. But if it only covers 2 or 3 blocks for the motion, um, which would make sense because if you put one in front of a door, you can trip the door off with it. Um, as you walk up to it, and you wouldn't want it to be like, anytime you're walking around in the room, it just opens all the doors to the room. So that does kind of make sense. I mean, it would be nice if it was a little bit adjustable. I wouldn't mind if they made it like the memory chip or something where we had a plus and minus and we could set the range in blocks like surrounding it. Um, that's probably actually a really good feature request, and hopefully they'll add something to that later on. Um, but yeah, so I don't know. So I'm thinking about either jumping on to, and I know I mentioned this before, probably 10, 20 episodes ago, but either doing a rock episode series, the ROKH, um, JCB Pioneer, uh, or like Planet Side Nomads, um, doing a series on one of those. And then as Stationeers get stuff, you can't build a spaceship in survival yet. You can only build them in creative, and you can't really do everything with them because you can't bring in the mothership core. So, and I'm not sure if you have to start off with the core. I mean, we could build some thrusters because they're not really fully implemented yet. So they're not going to put the core in survival until they actually kind of like work right. And I think before that, they're going to have to get the power gen done because right now you would basically have to run it off of either batteries, or now that we have the gas generator, we'd have to have like an O2 tank or a fuel mixture tank and run that because you can't really have solar panels on a ship that you're flying around because it's not really going to track the sun. Um, so, unless you're going to fly a little bit, stop. You still have to carry fuel because you got to have fuel for the thrusters. And I'm not sure if they run off of a mixture, if it's 100% hydrogen. I'm assuming it's the fuel mixture. Um, but yeah, so the spaceships are not really implemented yet. But I mean, once they will, then that would be like, they get the spaceships in, then we would jump back over to Stationeers, build a spaceship, um, and then we could go see where we can go and do or whatever. Maybe we make an outpost somewhere. Maybe we'll make a space station. Take some of the lessons we learned from the base, and go build one. And obviously we need something on the ground because we can gather resources in space too, but that would give us something to do. Um, I'm really hoping that at some point they'll make it a reason to come to space. So, we've got a space map, we've got a moon map, we got a Mars map, and I do want to move the base to Mars at some point. Or the question is going to be actually do I start a new game from Mars? you know, um, or do I just edit the save and move it to Mars with the Mars, with the and change the terrain to be Mars? Um, so I don't know. I will have to figure that one out too. But uh, so my thought is that I'll jump over to one of the other games. We'll spend some time in that. Those games are all pretty much farther along than uh, Stationeers is, so it'd be something we'd be able to fall back to for quite a while. Um, and then as they do the new updates, and we're at 77%. I don't know why this takes so long. 80%. Ooh, 81. Oh, it's speeding up. Um, yeah. So, uh, I'm kind of open for suggestions on those. They're all games I'm interested in, and I kind of want to stick with the same. I like playing the open world survival, build stuff sort of thing. I do have Worlds Adrift as well, so that is another one we could do. Haven't really got huge into that. I have Imperium. Um, Fragmented, uh, quite a few different games. I mean, I've got quite a few games on Steam. So Subnautica, I was thinking about doing Subnautica since it's now basically fully released and out of early access. I've never really gone through and done the storyline on it. I always just go in, grab all the stuff, build the base, and get everything built, and then go, okay, I'll go play something else now, you know. So, now you can actually go through, do the storyline, and, you kind of have a reason to, and then, you leave the planet and the game's done. Um, and, or I could do Space Engineers, but I've done a lot of Space Engineers, so, yeah, I've got 1,800 hours and a little over that in Space Engineers. So while I do like the game, I have played it quite a bit. Um, so I'm kind of thinking leaning towards one of the other ones. I would say Hellion, but honestly, I can't see there being enough stuff in Hellion to do. Um, plus it's a game where you die like at a drop of a hat, and then you're basically restarting, sort of thing. And Hellion's kind of buggy, uh, but I do like it a lot. Hey, look, we're at 91%. So hopefully we can get back into the game soon. Um, I did like Worlds Adrift. I played it a lot when it came out, like on the early access. Okay, Stationeers. Hey, it's restarting. Um, so I don't know. I'm kind of open for suggestions, and we'll see. But that's my thought is we'll go into one of those, or kind of come on, open up. It does this thing that when you jump in from Steam, it doesn't want to. If you're playing in full screen mode, it does not want to. It minimizes it when you jump back into Steam, and then when you close Steam until the game's loaded up to the title, it does not want to go back to the screen. And come on, hey, there we go. All right, thank you. Jeez. I haven't. I've heard of it, but I haven't. I haven't really looked at it yet. Oh, really? I don't know. I'll see. It just told me it crashed again. I don't know what's up with that because we have not had an update anytime soon. Okay, there it goes. It's just because I was trying to minimize it uh, while it was loading. So Echo. Um, that might be an option. Uh, oh, yeah, it does have kind of cartoony textures. I mean, I know it's pretty new. It looks like a little bit better. I don't know. I'll have to look into it some more. I haven't really watched anything on it. Or I could do something completely different, like Deliverance Kingdom Come or something, which look kind of interesting. Or like Elix or something like that. Who knows? Though, oh, hey, look, the torch is on. Because we tried to use it. I had that before, too. You turn it on and it doesn't light because the atmospherics are broken. And then when you reload up, it is actually, working. And yeah, we're going to want to light up. Okay, let's get this vent up here. Just like that. Get these wall sections so we're not having a ton of stuff laying around. I can clear some of this out. All right. Yeah, I will say, just from the quick looks of it, Echo is looks a little bit more cartoony than I usually like. I usually like more realistic graphics, um, you know, and usually even Stationeers is a little bit more cartoony than I really like. Uh, but graphics is not necessarily everything, because obviously enjoyed Stationeers quite a bit, and I still look forward to, whatever they do add in the future. And why do we have 3 plates? We should only have 1 plate. Or, yeah, we should only have 1 plate. We missed a block somewhere. Ah, this one. All right. There we go. Oh, and I found the block I missed in the last episode. It was this one right here. I was running around going, why do I have steel plates left? Why do I have steel plates? Yeah, that was that one. What, an echo? Let me see if we travel up this side. Yeah, like I said, I haven't really looked at it. I kind of, and it has popped up on my Steam store as Steam store as a suggestion because it's, kind of along the lines of what I normally play a lot. Though I usually go with a more space theme. But it is, it's kind of similar. So, like I said, I just haven't, since I've been playing Stationeers, I haven't really, been looking to get anything else. Though I did pick up JCB Mars, but I had kind of seen that a little bit before and kind of knew it was something I did want to get and play at some point. So it was on sale. I picked it up. Okay. So then we should be tied in. I'm an idiot. So did nobody else notice that I was putting that on the wrong side of the wall? It's supposed to be over here. Oh. Okay. Wow. All right, let's open this back up. Oh, I find that really hilarious. Huh. Yeah, I'll have to take a look at it closer. I don't know. I do have Take on Mars. Um, so that is an option. It just seems like it's and I know they have, it does have the whole an atmospherics crashed again. Yeah, I don't know what it is with that. Something about this last update has you think they would have caught that a bit more cuz I believe the last beta update is basically I'm running the same version as the public minus there's like 1 or 2 bug fixes I think that they released. Something small stuff, but oh yeah, I did see it had a patch. I hadn't read what was on the patch yet though. Um, Rock also had a patch yesterday, so I don't know what they've done to that. I'm on the beta branch, and they don't really leave notes on the beta branch, so I'm not sure what's changed there. Actually, I take that back. I don't know if it was a beta branch update or a main branch update, so uh, it could be. It could be that it was on the main branch. Oh, in Hellion? Oh, nice. Yeah, that is one I like. It's just one that basically can die at the top of the hat, drop of the hat, and usually that is a game you will see me die a lot in. It'll also be a game that you see me struggle to dock modules together and almost get it and then run out of fuel. Um, so at the very least, it'll probably be pretty entertaining. let's, hopefully we have enough wiring to do this. We're going to be pretty close. I should have, if I thought about it, I should have started making more cables. Yeah, that is a point. It is, and then I don't have a lot of hours in it. I mean, I believe I got it like the day it was released because I saw it and I'm like, oh, this is awesome. You know, it's got really good graphics. It's got orbital mechanics, um, you know, and uh, you know, it's oh, you can build space stations, and I did. You know, it was something I was like, this is right up my alley, and you know, I kind of messed around with it for a little bit, and you know, they've kind of expanded as it gone on. Oh, look at that. We have exactly enough cables. Okay. And what I'm actually going to do is, before we do anything else, let's get cables building. And I think we have quite a bit. Oh, this will make up to 200 cables. So we are going to let it make cables and walk away while we finish hooking that up. Okay. Oh, very nice. And yeah, they've made a lot of changes and stuff. I pop into it every now and then. You know, I mean, like I said, I do like it. Um, there we go. Oh, and right there. Oh, and atmospherics are crashed, so we can't weld anything. Oh, this is gonna be really annoying because now it's gonna do the whole sync thing again when I shut it down. All right. Is there anything else we can work on? That's highly annoying. I don't know why. Yeah, yeah, it does. Um, yeah, and especially, I mean, you know, I did it in the beginning and it was kind of, where do we want to do here? Maybe we'll work on some lights. Um, yeah, it was, you know, I mean, before it was, I got a far. I mean, I went out, mined some asteroids, you know, had my station's parts docked together. Um, and then, you know, it was like for a while there, the mining was bugged, and then the resources would, you know, you wouldn't be able to transfer them out and refine them. And, you know, I mean, it's a good game. You know, obviously they've gotten past that, but, and I played a little bit after that as well, too. But like I said, I haven't gone hugely into it. Now, I kind of want to put all the lights on their own circuit. So we're going to jump over to lights. I'm not blowing up pipes. The atmospherics is crashing. Oh. Um, it's not really that big of a network. It only runs from here to there, and then back to here. That's the start of it, is like right here. I mean, I guess it's running down that wall, or well, it's running through this wall, and then runs down into here. Technically, that's the return, so it actually runs all the way around. And okay, that's a pretty big network, so maybe that's what it is. I guess I could try putting some valves in. I just don't randomly like placing valves and stuff. But um, I believe so. I haven't tried it, but almost everything in the game is paintable. Actually, no, it's not. So it is one of the few things in the game that is not paintable. Yeah, because that's kind of weird because you can even paint the blocks. I'm assuming it's just they haven't got the other textures done for it yet. But I know, oh yeah. I was actually thinking about putting another airlock on the base just because it is so big that when I go walking around, if I come up on this side, it's like I'm walking by the base, and then, massive crater there, massive crater there, massive crater over there. And I've just been like, I should have another airlock or two, like one on each side. So I was thinking about adding an airlock onto like this room, and then I don't know, maybe can't. Well, there's not really anywhere to put one on this room. Since it's, well, actually we could do something like, well, that would block the greenhouse, so we can't do that. And that's got the radiator on it, so we can't do that. And that's on the furnace room, so we can't do that. I mean, we could always just take out that part of the radiator. Well, then we have to take out like that part of the radiator to tie into the building. If we do swap this with the small tank, then we could put one on this end. That would work. We could put one in there because the small tank would obviously only take up one block opposed to, the 2x2. So, oh, the base? Yeah, I could take a quick tour around. I mean, this honestly, this episode's kind of a bust now because the atmospherics keep crashing. So I'm kind of in the middle of working on something, and now we've already had enough time. Yep, see, there's the atmospherics crashed. So filtration room, obviously. Um, Intake line comes in, runs down the main line. Expansion tank runs to a filter and an AC for each. Uh, Filters are controlled by, I've got it set to 20 kPa. I did do that off camera. I forgot to mention it. It seems like, because if you get too low, the volume pump just kind of slows way down. So I found 20 kPa seems to work pretty good. It drains it out and shuts it off in a reasonable amount of time. So that way it doesn't run them constantly. Um, and so it'll let a little bit pressure build into the system and then goes out. And the plan is that we switch the small nitrogen tank out with the big one, since we don't need that big of a expansion tank for the system. But until we get the base pressurized, since we don't have enough nitrogen, it'll drain that tank. So we got to wait until the base is pressurized. These are all these tanks are controlled. All the ACs are controlled by circuits. So whatever we have set here, we have set a uh, in a memory chip, since we can't actually read what the ACs are set with through the logic. And basically, it'll shut the AC off and on based on it. So that way they don't run all the time if they don't need to. Let's see over here. So our refill station for our oxygen, nitrogen, and fuel mixture for a welder. And then that's the mixing station for the base air. So it'll mix the oxygen, then a nitrogen to go through the pressurization system. The greenhouse, which I've got shut down because the greenhouses are not really sustainable, for the amount of CO2 they use. But that's all automated as well. And then this is basically a custom airlock going into there. So this dumps air back into the greenhouse or pulls from it, and then this dumps air from the base or pulls from it. So we don't contaminate either or atmospheres. This is kind of our, I call living quarters, but it has our sleeper in it, which is all set up and automated with filtration. And then our food prep, so since it's next to the greenhouse. And the thought is that most of this stuff will be going into the filter room or as extra stuff, but basically we could store extra food and stuff in there. And then down here, we just have all the machines with about 200 cables sitting on the floor, which is about what we wanted to make. um, yeah, so, and then our basically raw resource storage. Yeah, MacGyver, I did think about, I wasn't really thinking about bridges. I was just going to fill them in completely, or the tops of them, around the base. But bridges is actually not a bad idea because it would be a little bit more artistic, I guess. Um, yeah, so just standard airlock. Oh, I was gonna make one change to this too. So we got the two vents, and I'm wondering if the when the base is pressurized, how slow it's running is if maybe we're maxing out this passive vent. So maybe I need to put another passive vent on there and see if that makes an improvement. So a furnace room, which is all automated separately from the base for the heating and cooling. Um, and we basically got our fuel mixture coming in for the furnace, and that's automated. And then that line runs down to the gas generator. And then this dumps back into our filtration system. And then we've got outside is a drop off. Um, well, we could use a stacker. I mean, we could still send it from a stacker and send it to a drop off point. That is a good idea, I guess. Um, I was thinking about just putting a stacker on each machine. So basically, as it comes out, it'll stack up as much as it can. Um, but, oh, yeah, see, our generator's not kicking in because the atmospherics is busted. So it's not kicking in our. Actually, we should not be that low because all the ACs were off. Well, no, the oxygen AC was running. So um, anyway, the sun will come up and it'll charge. Um, yeah, so this is the other drop off. There's another furnace behind this wall that does not have gases ran to it, and that's to drop off volatile or ices to smelt. And then if the base is pressurized, this line runs outside with another drop off location so that we can not contaminate the base atmosphere and still, add volatiles or oxides or whatnot, ice to the systems. Um, and down in the basement is the power storage, the circuit for the power. It basically monitors the batteries, and then it's got um, we can set a limit in here. Well, that's counting how many batteries for the LED up top. And then we have a power limit, um, low power limit. So if we drop below 20%, it kicks on this gas generator automatically as a backup. Obviously, since the atmospherics crashed, it's not running because it can't pull the gases through. Otherwise, it would be running right now. And then this is a manual. I had it hooked up with the coal generator first, and then when they added the gas, I swapped it to the gas, since we don't have to mess with the gas at all as long as it's piped in. But in case we ever get into the situation where since we already had it, and in case we ever get into the situation where, well, say atmospherics crash. Okay, well, I guess we can't even run the generator because the atmospherics are crashed. All right. I'm guessing because it can't create the pollution from running it. Ah, yes. So, um, and then, yeah, and then the other circuit was down there, controls the base heating and cooling for the ACs and the heaters. And then it has an override built into it so that if if the atmosphere in the base is less than 20 kPa, it'll shut the system off. Um, yeah. So that's pretty much the base. And then we have about, what do we have, about 30 solar panels on the roof that are all automated, which generally gives us plenty of power, except for if all these ACs are running. which right now they are, even though the fluids are broken, they're trying to kick in. And you can see it's temporary. Occasionally it's reading the circuit and kicking them on because they were all off earlier. But strange that they try to run when the atmospherics is crashed, but I guess they're one of the few things that still try to work. Yep, and then the sun came up, so now we're charging. Oh, well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. It wasn't the smoothest stream that I've had, saying that atmospherics could be crashing. But we're going to go ahead, and we're at an hour now. So I'm going to go ahead and do a restart on the client in the stream. And I'm going to do another stream pretty much. So give me about, you know, 6-10 minutes, whatever, because it's going to want to do this. Actually, I'm not going to shut the client. Oh, I'm not going to shut the client down. I'm just going to leave the session, since we know there's not an update, since it is the weekend. And we'll pick right back up where we left off, and hopefully the atmospherics will not crash yet again. And while I think about it, I should throw the torch in my hand, because if it comes back on, it's going to be up and running. And that's actually where the point we're at, where we're going to need to close these up. So, all right. Well, hopefully the next stream will go a lot smoother. Yeah, it's an ongoing bug because they keep working with the they're getting the atmospherics ready for the Mars maps, and having, you know, the worlds have atmospheres, because there is speculation that later on they're going to add other types of planets with different atmospheres. Though I've never heard anything, you know, from the devs, you know, 100% one way or the other. I don't know. They might have something out there stating it, but I have read that speculation online, which would kind of, you know, that's kind of what the hope is, because hey, it makes spaceships, you know, probably going to want to go between, you know, more places than Mars and the moon. So hopefully they'll, you know, I'd like to see on servers if they can get some, I don't know, procedural generation. You know, that way the maps will be different every time, and then maybe we'll have different planets, and, you know, you never know. You'll find, you know, one planet with this or one planet with that. I'm wondering if they have physics, if they're going to do anything with gravity, or if it's just always going to be kind of, you know, what it is. But I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, this is Mickey D. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode, and I'll be back with episode 67 in about 10 minutes.